What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about field bosses and world bosses. Now, in general, a lot of people have been wondering, how profitable are they? Are they worth my time? Should I take my main character? Should I take an ult? And the answer is complicated. There's unique items out there, like Nuver is going to have his own costume. There's going to be Kudum with a new alchemy stone. And Kuranda has a heart, which allows you to add additional crystal to your awakening weapon. So, if you're trying to get one of these special items, then I think there's a strong argument to take your main character to them and schedule a time to increase your chances. Because if you do more damage to the world boss, you're going to have a higher chance of actually getting the item. So now it comes down to silver per hour. And if you're looking at silver per hour, world bosses are just not worth it. You could argue that the Vel is worth it, because if you eventually get a Vel's heart, the profitability of going to Vel from a boss ult is extremely profitable, with having a Karak out there already getting into a crew. It takes like 5-10 minutes and he's dead. And the profit per hour on that would be fairly high. If you get a Vel's heart, even if you get one every 2 years, it'd still be very good profit for the amount of time spent. But if you look at regular world bosses like Zarka, Kudum, Nuver, Affintet, the profit on these tends to be around 30 to 50 mil an hour. Sometimes it's a little bit more, but generally that's your average. And this is not worth your time. That is just not worth your time to take your main character to a world boss, just for that little amount of silver. So how do we increase the time? How do we increase it? Because right now, if you have to waste 5 minutes getting there, 5 minutes for the world boss, 5 minutes to get back to whatever you're doing, that's 15 minutes. So if it's 30 mil, and 30 mil times 4 for an hour worth of grinding, what would 15 minutes worth of grinding be worth? Well, if you're making 120 mil or less, then I think world bosses are very worth it, which is for new players. So if you're a new player and you can't make more than 120 mil an hour, world bosses are very worth your time, and you should be going to them. But if you are a veteran player and you're making more than 120 mil an hour, then world bosses are really not worth it for you anymore. So it comes down to saving time at this point. And if you can save time and make it where you're not wasting 15 minutes, but wasting only maybe 7 minutes for a world boss, that becomes very worth it yet again. Because then you're making 200, maybe 300 mil an hour going to world bosses. So this is where boss ults come in. So you get boss ults and you put Oasis armor on them, you put your free accessories on them, and you're ready to go. So this is actually extremely good, and I highly recommend anybody who is looking to make some additional profit to do world bosses with a boss ult. And then again, if you're trying to min-max even harder, then you want to be able to pick a boss ult that's actually gives you the best of everything. So if you're going here at Nightmare Zarka on my Zerker, I'm just going to get one shot. I'm just going to, even with 277 DP, I'm just going to get one shot. So that's just not enough DP to survive these grind spots or new world bosses. So this brings in what's the answer to this, and that is long range characters like Ranger, or doing it on Witch or Wizard or DK or one of these other characters. My personal favorite is to do it on Witch. The reason being is Witch can spam multiple magic missiles, and this makes her significantly stronger than other classes. She also has several heal abilities, and she has a teleport to get herself out of danger. So here we are on my Witch, and we are at the new Kudum that just got reworked, Thunderstorm Kudum. And like I said, multiple magic missiles, very, very strong. You have your E heal. You have your shift E heal, and I think there's a third heal on Witch as well that I don't use. And you can use your teleport as well to get yourself out of danger. This makes it just a very, very well-rounded for world bosses. Now, let's come to field bosses. Field bosses, are they worth it? And the answer is they are extremely worth it, even for most veteran players. And the reason being is field bosses bring in lots of Caphras now since they were buffed. And so the profitability of them is somewhere around 100 to 200 mil an hour. assuming that you're channel swapping for field bosses and you're not taking a long time to kill them. So sometimes if you're doing this efficiently, it's maybe 200 mil, and if you're not doing it efficiently, it's closer to maybe 100 mil. This is very worth it. Only the most elite veteran players who are pulling in like 250 mil an hour should basically try to avoid doing field bosses. The question then becomes, where do we actually set up our character for field bosses? And my recommendation is to set it up over here to the left-hand side of Serendia, or to set up at Hideout Pass. I prefer over here by the side because you can run by the mountain and you can easily get to Dim Tree and Red Nose. And you can also run back around over here to Beg or Mudster. So this is actually very, very efficient and allows you to get back and forth as long as you have around like a T6 horse with Drift Incident Cell, which sometimes is a little hard to come by. But if you can get that and you can go to these world bosses fairly easily. I will say Mudster is by far the best field boss because he has a chance of spawning up to 3 times. Because he's a mud creature, when you kill him, he has a chance of splitting off and going and spawning somewhere else. So he can spawn here, he can spawn at Southern Sinanaga, and he can also spawn over here at Glish Swamp once he's killed, which is really, really good, and the profitability is crazy on that. The other field boss is Kasveriak. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I am up in the... I don't know if this is worth doing this field boss or not. A lot of times people will ignore this field boss or won't show up to it, and it's like takes a lot longer to kill because he's all over here by himself. It would be nice if they released like a Liber field boss or another field boss. But anyway, I don't personally do this one, and I don't recommend other people doing it either. But if you're just looking to change it up and have a change in pace, then I don't think it hurts. It's still pretty good money per hour. Well, anyway, guys, that is it for the video. If you guys want to check me out on Twitch, this video is made by the support of people on Twitch. My Twitch channel is Potion Shop TV. I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.